What is going on, guys? Thank you for watching Lost Day Syndrome. I am your host, Matthew Brown, and it is now time for me to talk about my Oklahoma City Thunder. And it's the middle of the All-Star break, so I figured it'd be a good time to talk about my assessments of the good and bad of the Thunder teams where we are right now. So first thing is well, they're 2 games away from the 3rd seed. Currently, they are the 5th seed, and 2 games away from the 3rd seed, which is both is the Spurs and the T-Wolves. They are both, I believe, the same record, but I do know that they are just 2 games behind both of those teams for the next higher seed. So that's actually something to be a little, I don't know, encouraged about if you're a Thunder fan, knowing it's been such an up and down season, and they're, you know, in the 5th spot, but they're only 2 games away from the 3rd seed. That, to me, says that, you know, despite the struggles the Thunder have had, that it hasn't been a complete disaster. They've obviously had some good spurts because they would not be in the position they are right now if they were not playing good basketball, at least some portion of the season. You have to at least hope that they only can get better as the season goes along, that maybe they might have enough time and to pass the Spurs and the T-Wolves to maybe get that 3rd seed and hopefully get a home court in the 1st round. And, well, let's just, you know, say that the Thunder have also been playing, excuse me, I know that's totally unprofessional of me, excuse me, but, they've been playing well against the good teams, against the Rockets, the Warriors, the Raptors, you know, the Cavs. They did lose to the Cavs just not too long ago. It was a tight game, too, but it might have been different, perhaps, if, you know, Audrey Robertson played, and the Cavs were just shooting lights out in that game. But still, they have proven that the Thunder can compete with anyone in this league, and they also have proven they can lose to anyone in this league if they don't have their act together. So, I want to give my good and bad assessments. Let's start with the bads, because that way we won't be so sour at the end of this video. So the bad stuff that I want to talk about is I guess some of the disappointments. Some of the disappointments would have to be, to me, some of the players like Alex Abrinas, who I wanted to have hopes in that maybe he would have been the player that could have been that, you know, that 3-point specialist, and he is way too inconsistent. I'm still waiting for him to hit a 3 at any meaningful time in his career. He makes 3s when it seems like the games are already won or lost, but when the game is still on the line, he's a no-show, and that's very disappointing. I wanted to like the guy, but right now I'm at the point I'm losing hope that this guy is actually going to be anything special. He only has 1 more year on his contract after this year, so you know, I don't know. They don't really think they're going to trade anything for him. More than likely, if he doesn't develop anymore, you're probably just going to be let go. Along with Josh Huestis, I feel like Josh Huestis used to sometimes show signs that he might be a ball player in this league, but he's had ample opportunity to prove himself in too many games where he's a no-show compared to the ones he is a show. And he's also on his last contract year, so he might be on his way out of the league after this season. But the development of Josh Huestis has also been disappointing. Patrick Patterson, I was actually excited about this guy when they first signed him as a free agent, and to me, he's been a little bit of a disappointment. Lately, at least, these last couple of games, he's been playing better, but up until that, he was practically useless. If his 3s are not falling, then I mean, he really does not add a lot to the team. So hopefully he actually starts playing better and playing as well as he has been recently. But as the whole season, as a grade value, to me, he has been disappointing. But hopefully, you know, the season can be a different story for him, and when we get into the playoffs. So, but like I said, to me, at least at this point, he's been a little bit of a disappointing signing. Audrey Robertson, you know, obviously the obvious disappointment, him being injured for the season. I was actually liking some of the progress that he was making. I mean, in some, not all. I mean, obviously his free throw shooting was horrible, but he at least knew what his style was, and he was actually making himself efficient as much as he can offensively. But his injury obviously was a big disappointment. Now, the positive, you know, Russell Westbrook is still playing his MVP-type self. Paul George is even better than I thought he was when we originally got him. Carmelo Anthony to me has kind of been what we, or at least I expected what we were going to get in him, and kind of the guy who's hot and cold, and he's definitely been that this year, and hopefully he gets hot at the right time during the playoffs, because the Thunder definitely going to need some offensive power to go against the Warriors and the Rockets. But like I said, he's been kind of what I would expect, but Paul George has been a pleasant surprise for me. Russell Westbrook is Russell Westbrook still. Steven Adams, I have to say, he's been getting a lot of praise on his development this year. He was a little bit of a disappointment last year. A lot of people were beating him up for the big fat contract he signed and didn't think he was playing up to his talent potential. And I would have to agree a little bit. At least I was still willing not to, say the guy sucked or anything, but the player that we're getting this year is what I was hoping that we would get from him last year, but at least, better late than never. And he's still young. He's only 24 years old. He still potentially can get better, so I'm excited about the emergence of Steven Adams. Where else can I talk about? Billy Donovan, his coaching, to me, has kind of been the same, It's good and bad. It's really hard for me to judge him. I guess it'd be easier once we get to the postseason. The postseason, at the end of the postseason, would probably be the best way to get a good evaluation of him for this year. I will give him props, to making the adjustments he's had to make this year on beating some of the good teams. It would be obviously very alarming if he wasn't even, I guess you would rather him beat the good teams and lose against the bad teams instead of always beating the bad teams and losing against the good teams, because at least when you beat the good teams during the regular season, there's at least maybe reason for hope, that something could happen during the playoffs. So I will give credit Billy Donovan that he is at least showing up on the big games this year. It's just the inconsistency is obviously that I don't like. You can't say it's all his fault. The players have been inconsistent too with the, trying to mesh together. But the coaching also is, has to have the blame on certain losses this year. But I don't want to say he's been a complete loss. If I'm going to grade Billy Donovan at this point, I would give him maybe probably a B-, I would say. So I would give him a good, fair, grade. He's definitely been above average, considering the circumstances of having to, bring up a new team with new chemistry players, and also having to deal with the injury of Andre Robertson, who was supposed to be the defensive specialist, which is kind of supposed to be the battling, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but just basically the identity, I guess, of this team was supposed to be defense. And when you lose your best defensive player, you're going to probably have to reinvent yourself a little bit more than you were hoping to. But I got to say, he's been doing at least a good job. But like I said, I'm not saying great, but Billy Donovan has been doing a good job. So, I don't know where else to go. We're in the All-Star break, no injuries. I was definitely happy to see that. And, like I said, Thunder in the 5th seed right now, just 2 games behind the Spurs and the T-Wolves for the 3rd seed. So obviously that'd be great if the Thunder can get that 3rd seed and hopefully get a home court in the 1st round and have an easier path, towards the 2nd round, where they would more likely, have to face the Warriors or the Rockets. Either one is not going to be easy, so they're going to have to face either one eventually anyways to get to the finals. So I'd rather them face in round 2, and especially coming off hopefully having a fairly easy 1st round series. And you wouldn't have to think that it would be only easier if the Thunder can get home court advantage. But I won't say it's a must-have or anything. The Thunder seem to actually play pretty well on the road, or at least they seem to be focused on the road. I don't know why. It just seems like when the Thunder are home, they're just more relaxed than they should be, and they get teams, games that they should have won slip away. Teams like, I think, was it the Trailblazers? I don't know. I don't want to get too much off subject, but goodness gracious, can't talk right now. But I think that's all I'm going to say. I just want to, get back talking about the Thunder. I am excited, but the season still, I'm not trying to have any false hopes of a championship. Maybe if Robertson was back, maybe I would have get my hopes up, but I don't know. As a Thunder fan, most Thunder fans will probably agree that we're kind of tired of getting our hopes up. And I would probably advise for every Thunder fan, once the playoffs come around, just kind of take one game at a time and just see where it goes. So anything can happen. I think, stranger things have happened in sports, but let's just kind of keep it real at the same time. So anyways, I didn't have my Thunder shirt on today. I'm kind of getting ready for class. I'm going to school. And at least I got my Thunder hat, my cool Thunder hat on, representing my team. So I think that's all I got for you guys. Hope you like this video. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe for more videos. And I want to appreciate all you guys for watching. And I'll see you next time. Later.